Hi, everybody. Post-traumatic prison disorder. My name is Shawna Vaughn, and I'm the director of Silent Cry. Thank you to the Sozosei Foundation. Post-traumatic prison disorder, Shawna W76337. My name is Shawna Vaughn, and on April the 15th, 1978, Joyce Vaughn, shackled and chained, spread legs with iron, wrists and legs would bear life in these conditions, pushed under pain in captivity to birth the dream and the hope of a slave in a California prison plantation. Children of incarceration begin their lives in trauma and out of the womb into their ACEs. ACEs are childhood adverse experiences of sexual molestation, alienation of affections, depression, etc. I am post-traumatic prison disorder, Shawna W76337, which means I am the intersection between the ACEs and mass incarceration. Black women and girls are disproportionately incarcerated and experience greater health outcomes compared to our counterparts. 46% of women incarcerated suffer from mental health issues, and 31% of men suffer from mental health issues as well. Post-traumatic prison disorder exacerbates by solitary confinement, prison rape, dehumanization, and a culture of perpetual violence, and no services to address mental health. Big Pharma and the prison industry are colluding to over-medicate the incarcerated population. Medication is used as a tool of maintenance in a prison environment. I was given Elevita, wake up, and Ritalin to go to sleep. And I said I knew this was wrong. And it's a defiance not to take pills. They put you in solitary confinement. And you have to have a lawyer not to take medication. Well, who knows you have to do all these steps. Depression, anxiety, bipolarism, schizophrenia, personality disorder, etc. All the things that prison causes. Trauma. Mental health has no border. It doesn't discriminate. It has no economic standing, but post-traumatic prison disorder does. Prison birth and sterilization are forms of trauma that we aim to address in legislation. By giving women mental health trauma providers, social workers to maintain their links to their children and maintaining bonds. 18 women per 1,000 commit suicide alone in a Texas prison. Suicide is one of the leading causes of death in the U.S. prisons. It exceeds those of the general population. Don't forget, Kalief Browder is an American example of post-traumatic prison disorder in the intersection of lack of mental health services and the effects of suicide, not to mention his innocence. For Quentin Jones, Nikema Hill, and Leroy Washington, I ask in legislation for guards to be mandated to therapy to reduce harm. 14 days into incarceration, while an individual is detained and evaluated by an informed trauma therapist. Hear their silent cries. Advocacy and legislation must happen together. I urge you to stand with me. I am calling on legislators around the country to adopt post-traumatic prison disorder. Let's change the law. Let's change the laws. Add to the DSM-5 and create solutions for healing. We release and reincarcerate mental illness at 18% higher than anyone. We have no mental health hospitals for people who suffer from ACEs and just life experiences. If your body is locked up, your mind deserves to be free. We value dogs and cats at the Humane Society over people incarcerated who suffer in silence. For every mental health professional, lawmaker, and influencer, foundation who champions change in mental health, I urge you to champion post-traumatic prison disorder, Shawna W76337. It's the only mass incarceration mental health bill. And I understand that legislation has to be written for us, by us. So I wrote legislation, just like my birth, in public housing, which is an atrocity, in my kitchen, with help of my friends, because legislation has to look for us, by us. And if that's not your trauma, that you don't have a solution. So I urge everybody who is aiming for mental health solutions, who believe in advocacy and legislation, to grab hold to post-traumatic prison disorder and create legislation in your states that has long-standing holds for people like me, because we have faces and we have names. I have 4 siblings, and 3 of us have been incarcerated. We hand down legacy trauma, but there's a solution. I've heard everybody give out resources, but now I'm urging you to allow me to drive you to champion post-traumatic prison disorder, Shawna W76337. Thank you.